Hello, this is Marvelous Action Figures, and I'm Paul, and this is probably the toy line of 2023 for me. This is Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified, and today I'm going to look at my top 10 of 2023. So, to start, disclaimer time. It's just my opinion. Your opinion is equally as valid as mine, and I'd love to know your opinion. That's the whole point of these videos. I'm no expert whatsoever. It's just my thoughts, and I'll try and give some reasons as to why these figures make my 10, because sometimes they're not even the best figure, but there are reasons why they're in my 10. So that's the main criteria. The other criteria is obviously I've got to own the figure for it to be in the top 10, and that's going to be quite different for some of you watching this video depending where you're watching it, because I'm in the UK, and the UK has been a bit weird with its releases this year. So for example, some of the figures you'll see in my list you probably got in your part of the world in 2022, but for here in the UK they dropped in 2023. And then there'll be some figures that aren't in this list that you'll probably be screaming at the screen going, where's this figure, where's that figure? But that will be because they haven't dropped in the UK yet, or they've dropped, this is a very weird one, at different suppliers. So as an example, my good friend Jay, hello Jay, he has got the updated Firefly version already from third-party supplier, whereas I'm still waiting for the Hasbro Pulse Direct figure to be shipped, and it's been delayed and delayed and delayed, and is now gone back into 2024. So that would have made my list, I'm quite sure, but I haven't got that figure, so that's not going to be able to make my list. So that won't drop in this year for me, and it will probably end up in next year's. And General Hawk is another one, and the Dreadnoks, again, some people are getting them, but I haven't got those yet. Most of mine are coming direct from Hasbro Pulse, so it's a bit weird. So that's why they won't be in the list. Anyway, with that said, hopefully this will be a bit of fun for you, and you'll better have your own opinions on it and agree or disagree, or let me know what yours are. But to start with, let's take a look at who is on the contenders list. Let's go. Right, starting at 10, we have Torpedo. I didn't think he'd make my list, but he has, because he's so different, and that's actually why he's on there. In terms of that building out the world of G.I. Joe, he's an underwater figure. Now, for me, I love to pose these figures and do some ACBA, and that challenges me to do some different setups and think of creative ways to show this figure underwater. And he's a great figure. That is the other thing about him as well. Great look to him. Good accessories, bit gummy and a bit sort of weak and wobbly, the accessories, but they look great. Fun figure, articulates fantastically well for an underwater figure. Gives me great hope for the 60th anniversary figures that are on the way in 2024 of the Frogman figure. So he's a lot of fun, and he really challenges me to do different styles of work on him, and that is why Torpedo starts the list at number 10. Okay, one down. Let's move on. Let's look at number 9. And number 9 is Serpentor. Now again, some of you would have got him in 2022. He's he's been a grail figure for me for years. He's one of my favourite characters from the comic books, and getting into that weird and quirky sort of mystical side of G.I. Joe. He's actually not the best figure. I was a little bit overhyped about him, to be honest, and I sort of set my expectations a bit too high. Doesn't articulate the best, but he looks exceptional. Soft goods, and of course, one of the deciding factors is he comes with his air chariot as well, which is a great bit of fun. Not the best looking vehicle, but it is a lot of fun as well. But because he was a real grail figure of mine, and because I was so excited to get him, and he is still a decent looking figure, Serpentor makes the list, and he is number 9. Okay, let's move on. Let's now look at our number 8 figure. Number 8, here he is. It is Snowjob, a fine figure. And I love the Arctic scenes. I love doing the Arctic setups. You can get some really great sort of setups for ACBA. Snowjob is great. He comes with a bucket load of accessories, and at a really decent price as well. He's got skis, he's got snow boots, he's got his ski poles, he's got weapons, he's got a great backpack, he's got interchangeable heads and goggles. He's a fine looking figure. He actually articulates really well, considering he's got the big sort of bulky jacket and combat fatigues on, Arctic fatigues. So he's a really fun figure, great to pose with, so great value, and he was quite an easy inclusion for me in the list. So yeah, again, in that world building, much like Torpedo, Snowjob is an excellent figure. Okay, he's 8. Who is at number 7? Number 7 will definitely be a surprise, because it is Sergeant Slaughter, and he dropped in the UK. This is an import figure, the second wave of stock. Didn't think I'd ever going to get him, didn't think we'd ever see him in the UK, but he did drop this year on Hasbro Pulse, and they did manage to secure him, and he is another weird, funny, quirky figure out of the comic books from back in the 80s, when I was reading and collecting all the little 3.75 inch figures, and he was obviously based on his WWF, as it was then, character, and a great figure as well, really well articulated, looks perfect, loads of accessories with him as well, and a lot of fun. So yeah, Sergeant Slaughter makes the list, and he is in at number 7. Okay, as we work through the list, who is at number 6? Okay, number 6, it's only rock and roll, but I like it. I have to do that joke every single time I play rock and roll. Okay, it is Craig Rock and Roll McConnell. Beautiful figure. Really big, chunky. He's got so much going on. He's got the tattoos. He's got the weapons and accessories, and he's got the cool helmet. He's got the hang 10 hands. He has got a lot going on with him. Great fun. Brilliantly articulated, nice big size to him. He works perfectly. The head sculpt is fantastic. He's just a great figure, and he just looks beautiful, and he fits in so well with the Joes, and he's a real credit to what, in terms of the comic books, the Joes were always sort of the plainest, Cobra were always the greatest looking figures, but Rock and Roll is a figure done properly, and he looks great, and he comfortably makes my list. Okay, 5 down, 5 to go. Okay, top 5, and at number 5, it's another Arctic contender. It is the Snow Serpent. Beautiful figure, almost impossible to get hold of in the UK. I managed to get one. They sold out in about 3 seconds, and this is an import one from the brilliant guys at Hella Dope. Excellent figure, so good. Could have been higher, probably should have been higher for some people's list. Only where he is, just because I love the other figures that are ahead of him. Great figure. Again, like Snowjob, loads of kit comes with well. The brilliant snowboard. Just a shame that the feet pegs don't move on it to sort of get it side to side. But a great figure. Lots of fun. And it fits in beautifully with Snowjob in that sort of Arctic battle scene world. So a great addition to G.I. Joe. I just wish I could have got more. So, Snow Serpents at 5. Who is at number 4? At number 4, it's a figure I slept on initially, and I don't know why now looking at it, because he's beautiful. It's Outback, and it's the OG Outback, not the Tiger Force one, although the Tiger Force one has got a great old man head sculpt. But this Outback is phenomenal. I slept on it first of all. When I first got it, I couldn't believe I nearly missed out on it, and again, it's come up so high on my list. Glorious figure. It looks fantastic. The cut, the style, the design, again, like rock and roll. A plain looking Joe figure. It's just a dude in combat fatigues and a white t-shirt, but my goodness, they have nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And the head sculpt, the articulation, the style and design of it is fantastic. It's just a top figure, and really, really impressed with him. So he is at number 4 on my list. And okay, we're now moving into serious territory. 3 to go. Okay, number 3 on the list. It's the beautiful Range Viper. And for a while, this was my number 1 figure. I didn't know this character from the comics because I stopped reading my end, and I didn't know this comic from the cartoon because I was a little bit older and I wasn't watching it at that stage. My goodness, when I saw this figure released, I was like, who the heck is that? But I dived in. I only got one. I wish I'd got more because he's just exceptional. So much kit going on. The colour, the cut of the figure, the sculpting, articulation, everything about it is fantastic. And he just looks creepy as heck as well. So it was an easy pick. Again, I wish I'd got more, but it's a beautiful looking figure. And getting into that quirkier, you know, more sort of mystical, weirder style of G.I. Joe, which there's a few out there, a few characters like that out there. Looking at you, Raptor. This is another great addition to it as well. So happy with this figure. He might even feature in my top 10 figures of the year overall, which is another video for another day. But for now, he's number 3 on my G.I. Joe classified list for 2023. And he's only number 3 just because of the other 2 ahead of him. So let's talk who are in the top 2. At number 2, it's Cobra Eels. And again, they could have been number 1 as well. They may well have actually been number 1 in terms of the quality of the figure, but I'll talk about why they're not in a bit. But Cobra Eels, a real favourite of mine as a child. The colour scheme is so vibrant. That red in terms of the grey frogman outfit, the accessories again that come with them. Again, world building. They've come out in the same year as Torpedo, so he's got people to fight underwater. Managed to bag 2 of these, and these sold out in about 4 seconds in the UK as well. So I was delighted to get a couple of these. Again, I wish I'd had a whole squad of these. They look phenomenal. They articulate brilliantly well, and they're really challenging and really great in terms of setting up that ACBA with Torpedo. They're just fantastic looking figures. They're so good. And again, giving me all the feels from the childhood versions as well. And they end up in the bath, those ones, for proper ACBA. But they're glorious figures. So pleased to have them. They're an easy pick. They were almost number 1 on my list, but they weren't. They were number 2. Okay, so that's the countdown. We got 1 left. Let's talk about who is at number 1. Okay, it's number 1 time. They've been here the whole time. Which one of these figures is it? Who will it be? Who will it be? Who will it be? Yes, they've been hidden in plain sight the whole time. It's Dr. Mindbender right at the front end. Now that will be a weird and controversial choice for a lot of you. I'm sure you're going, huh? Are you kidding? But Dr. Mindbender, for me, there's a number of reasons here. So, weird character in the comics. Ridiculous look to him. He's basically Tom Hardy playing Charles Bronson. That's what he looks like. But he's a weird, eccentric weasel of a guy. But he's absolutely shredded. Soft goods on him is great as well. None of that staining that was worried about when they were first released. He's just a brilliant figure. And when he dropped, and he was a year delay here in the UK, and actually at one point I didn't think we were even going to get him because there was so many delays, and then people were saying they weren't getting him. He was being cancelled, and then there was all this the weird staining issues with the soft goods rubbing off onto the torso and the arms. So I never thought we'd get him, and then we did get him, and he was gorgeous. And he came with a fantastic box, which when opened up, created his base. And I was able to use that base for the backdrop for some photographs. And it's just perfect. And he came with a bucket load of accessories as well. So again, he gave me all those sort of feels of this weird character, the colour scheme I loved from the comic books. He was in that whole period with Serpentor as well. And then the Armoured Cobra Commander. So here's a figure that met my expectations from being a kid with the first figure, to being excited about getting this figure, to overhyping myself when he was released in the UK, and then him actually arriving and being delivered. And that is why Dr. Mindbender is my number one G.I. Joe of 2023. And there you have it. That's my list. But as always, let me know what your list is, because I'm quite keen to hear about that as well. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What have you got out of the list of the ones you can see here, or the ones I talked about earlier that you think should have made that 10? And as I say, there's going to be loads that you probably got that I haven't been able to get yet here in the UK. They will make the 2024 list. But that's my list. Let me know yours. And drop us a like and subscribe if you're not and you'd like to, because there's loads of Joe videos and loads of other videos of figures on this channel. And if you are liking and subscribing, as always, thank you very much. I think 2023 has been one of the golden years of collecting, and I hope you've enjoyed some of the videos I put out. Thanks for being with me on that journey, and onwards to 2024. That's it for this video. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.